Hello guys, welcome back again to the channel. Yes, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, okay, so that we get the numbers. We want to post about the numbers. Name subscribe. Okay, so yes, we are bringing you news from Germany. Well, you have to be careful when you are looking for an apartment in Germany, okay? So this is what I'm bringing to you. These are some of the things you should know when you get to Germany. Okay, so as a student, you are allowed to live in the student hostel, the Studentenwerk hostel, for a period of time. And after that period of time, of course, you have to move out, okay? And this moving out is kind of stressful, okay? If you are in cities where the population is too much, okay, or the big cities, okay, the apartments there are very, very scarce to find, okay? And so you really have to search in the market before you get an apartment. And getting an apartment is not easy, okay? In the small cities, it's kind of easy for you to get an apartment, but in cities like Berlin, Cologne, and it's kind of very difficult. München, Hamburg, yeah, the big cities, it's kind of very difficult. So what you have to do, you really have to be careful when you are looking for an apartment, right? Okay, so this video is purposely to draw your attention on scammers, okay? Well, whether you are a student or not, you should be very careful when you are looking for an apartment. Okay, so for instance, I am using myself as an example. I was in search for an apartment. I needed an apartment badly, and well, I went to the app where you search. You can use to search apartments in Germany, okay? For instance, the Immo Scout and then the Immo Welt, okay? There are a lot of apps where you can actually register, and then you just put an information about yourself to show that you are in search for an apartment, okay? So I did that, and I wasn't getting any response when I applied. Yeah, because when you apply, you have to really write something good about yourself. Then the vermieter, which is the landlord, can give you a response via email or via through telephone, a call, and then he tells you to come and view the apartment. Okay, sometimes you go in person, and of course sometimes it can be done online, okay, depending on what the landlord wants. Yeah, so I wasn't getting any of those, so I kept on applying, and one time I had the opportunity to be called to come and view. In fact, when I went for the viewing, I actually didn't like the place because the place was very far from the Haltestelle, that's the bus stop, and then the Straßenbahn actually do not go through the city, okay? It's they use bus, okay? The city is just the buses are run in the city, okay? And the buses come like 30 minutes, every 30 minutes. So considering my condition with my kid and stuff, I didn't like the apartment. Plus the apartment didn't have an Aufzug, yeah, it didn't have a lift. So I just I didn't consider going back to apply, and yeah, so I just left it there. So yes, I was in search for other apartments, and I something came to mind that, okay, let me go through on Facebook to see whether people give their apartment out. So that is where the problem comes from, okay? So if you are looking for an apartment on Facebook, you should be very careful. I didn't know, so I just went through, and I saw that someone had posted pictures of his apartment on Facebook, and I was interested. And then per the pictures, I saw that the address of the the apartment was located in a city center, okay, and yeah, the rent was cool. So I decided to write to this person via messenger, and the person told me that okay, actually the apartment doesn't belong to him, it belongs to a friend of his. So he just gave me the he asked me to give him my email address. So he forwarded my email address to this friend of his, and the friend started writing to me per mail. Okay, so this was where the problem started. So I just sent an email to this friend, to this person who had the apartment. Yeah, can you call me on this particular line? So I put my number out, and then I said I can speak English, and I just pretended, yeah, okay, but I said my German is not so good, okay, so you can contact me on WhatsApp through this line, right? So I put everything there. Now then he answers, this person answers, my name is Mason Lee Paul, right? So he wrote the, if you can see my screen, he wrote the message, right, in Deutsch, in German. And so let me just explain it, like translate it in English. So he said his name is Mason Lee Paul. I contacted his friend on Facebook regarding an apartment, and then he is the owner of this apartment, and the apartment is located in Engelbertstraße, but he didn't put the number of the street, okay, because every street is numbered in Germany. So he didn't actually put the number there, but he put the postcode. So that was where the suspicion came from, okay? So you really have to be careful with all these people so you do not get scammed. That is why I'm doing this video. It's really for you not to get scammed on Facebook. Up till now, I haven't had any person who has actually rented an apartment through Facebook. Okay, it was just my imagination because I really needed an apartment, and I said, okay, let me just go and see. So when I went there, this is what came to me back, okay? And yeah, and he says that the apartment is in North Rhine-Westphalia, no? And it has 2 rooms, a bathroom, and then the square meter is 65. And of course, I would have to pay a monthly rent of 620 euros, okay, for a very long period of time. And with this 620 euros, that 2 rooms in there. When you look at the postcode is actually in the city center of Cologne, okay? So it's a kind of weird for you to get 2-bedroom apartment in a city center, which you have to pay 620 euros, okay? So well, so he says that this apartment that you have to pay 620 euros consists of a fridge, okay, a washing machine, a dryer, a coffee machine, a toaster, and then of course internet, VLAN, okay? It's too much to be true, because when you actually rent an apartment, you kind of do not find all these things in the apartment. You really have to provide them yourself, okay? So that is another suspicion I got, okay? So yeah, you have to be careful when those people offer you all these things, okay? It's a scam. Now he tells me that he relocated to Great Britain. Yeah, he relocated to Great Britain. And one thing you should, in Chester, in Britain, so one thing you should know is that these people are always telling you they are not in the country where you want to rent the apartment. Yeah, it's either they are in France, they are in Italy, they are in London, they are in Great Britain, they are wherever. Yeah, they are actually not in Germany. So this is another thing you should note, that if someone wants to scam you, this is another thing you should note, right? And then he goes on again to tell me that the apartment is located in the city center, where you can go shopping and you can have sports, you can do any kind of things you like. There are your animals are allowed in the apartment, of course. And yeah, there's also a park plot, like a place where you can park your car, right? And he wants someone who can stay in the apartment for a very long period of time, okay, so that the person can take care of the things in the house, what I stated earlier on: the washing machine, the dryer, the coffee machine, and what else, okay. Yeah, so, and then he doesn't want someone who will stay in the apartment for a short period of time, but he wants someone who will stay there for a long period of time. He has the keys, yeah, to the apartment. And of course, if I am interested, I'll have to come. I should tell him so that he comes to Germany. Then we can make the contract. So I sign, okay. And then he says that his Deutsch is not good, so we can speak English. So I was like, okay, we can proceed in English. So I sent him another mail. But you should know that when you look at my screen, you can see that this mail was sent on 4th February, yeah, 2023. And then the mail was from mason.lipon@gmail.com, which you should be very careful, okay? When you are renting an apartment, the vermieter does not actually use a Gmail account. The vermieters, the landlords, some of them have a company account, okay. So for instance, if you are renting an apartment, except for private landlords, okay, but like private landlords, but if you are renting an apartment through GAG or Zahlen Wohnungen, okay, they are a big company. They are big companies where if the landlord wants to give you, or the company wants to give you the apartment, then the email will be in the company's name. Like, it will be a company's email address, okay. So you should be very, very careful when these people send you a mail and it's like at gmail.com or at yahoo.com. You should know that it's a scam, okay. So this is point number 3 now. So I told him I want us to have the conversation about apartments. That's why I've given you my numbers, so we can do what do you call it, WhatsApp chat, okay. We can have a chat on WhatsApp via my phone. And point number 4, okay, you should know that these people do not give their numbers out. They will never give their numbers out to you for you to communicate to them through a WhatsApp or even through a normal call, yeah. So you should know that this is a scam, right? Now, then he answers me back. He says, thanks for your response. The apartment is still available for a long-term rent, and exactly as you can see it in the picture. So he actually gives me pictures of the apartment, okay. And of course, these are the pictures of the apartment. So I actually saw these pictures on Facebook, and I was like, okay, the place is very nice, so let me just try and see. I didn't have any idea that there are kind of scammers on Facebook, so I was just trying, yeah. And when I saw the pictures, I was touched. But until he gave me the breakdown of everything that is in the apartment, then I found out that no, this could be a scam, okay. So I just read a lot about it, and I asked questions. I asked some people, and then I was told that it's a scam, okay. But I wasn't a victim, yeah. So you should know that I wasn't a victim. So yeah, So he says rent includes water and electricity. So number 5, you should know that this is not true, because 620 euros apartment located in the city center can never include water and electricity. No, in the center of Cologne, it can never be true. Okay, electricity and water will be paid separately. Okay, so you should hit like 1,500 or 1,600 for a 2 bedroom. It depends, but 620 is too small. It's just a small amount for you to pay for a 2 bedroom apartment, including all these utilities. Okay, yeah. So, and then he says that registration and address is possible, where he hasn't even given the street number of where the apartment is located. Okay, so he says that, as I mentioned in my first email, Chester, England is my current place of residence. Yeah, I'm ready to travel as soon as possible back to Germany to sort out the lease. I came back once already for a supposed tenant and realized he didn't have enough funds, so I needed to be sure before I come and understand my proposal, which is also a lie, right? This is also a lie, so you have to be careful. And all these scammers have like just one trend, that their emails and whatever the content of the emails are always the same. The content of the email, trust me, are always the same. That is the plan they use to get people's money, right? So there is no way that you can just leave your apartment and then relocate to Great Britain and the apartment will be seated there doing nothing. Yeah. And then in order for him to convince me, he tells me that he came and then there was one tenant who was not ready, so he had to go back to Great Britain, which is not true. So then he continues, that is the way I entrusted Booking.com, which offers a simple control process for owners and new tenants. They will check me as the owner of the apartment and you as the potential tenant, right? So this is also a lie. Yeah. So up till now, I haven't seen anybody, okay, or any tenant paying rent through Booking.com in Germany. Maybe there are, okay. If there are, I do not know. You can drop the comments in the comment section and let me know. But until now, I am not aware that a tenant in Germany pays his rent through Booking.com. Okay, I just know that when you are a tenant, before you even get the apartment, you are supposed to fill a form, which I will explain later in my next video. You just fill a form and then you give this form to the landlord, and then the with this form that you've given, the landlord will give you another paper which you send, okay, your city, so that you can go and register your address. Okay, so once you register, even before you fill the form, you would have put your bank account details and everything in the form. Okay, so which would permit your bank to debit your account with this rent every month. Yeah, so I haven't seen anybody paying his rent through Booking.com, so you need to be careful. Yeah. Continues to say that here is a brief description of the process. As owner, I need to submit to Booking.com information about rental agreements, copies of some documents. After Booking.com accepts the transaction and completes the verification of the document, they have to contact you as a potential tenant and check if you have enough money to rent the apartment. After I receive the confirmation, I get back to Germany to show and sign the lease contract. Okay, so if you agree with this process, please provide the following information: complete name of future tenant, current address, telephone number, and I also need a copy of your ID or passport to complete the lease agreement. Okay, which you should also note that this is not done in Germany. I am yet to come across one which is done, but for now, I haven't come across any. Okay, all people I know had their apartment through Imo Scout, okay, or Imo Welt. Okay, there are a lot of apps that you can find your apartment, yeah, through them. So this is also a false thing he just wants to do. Now, how can booking.com verify my documents when I do not have any transaction or anything, any affiliates with booking.com? So you have to be careful. Do not give your private information to such people, because once you give your passport or your address or something very personal to them, right? Once you give a copy to them, they can use your name and of course your identity to do something against you, yeah, which will cause you trouble. So you have to be very careful. Do not believe what they say. So for instance, he said he needs a copy of my ID and passport to complete the lease agreement. So if I had given the passport or ID or something valuable to him, probably he would have used it for something, and then I'll be there and the police will be knocking at my door. Okay, so you really have to be careful. And of course, your street name and address and stuff like that, if you give it to him, he might go and fill any form and then put your address and your name there. Okay, and then it could be something that would go against you. So please be very, very careful. But when he sent this information, I just sent back a message to him that if you are really indeed the owner of this apartment, let me see the documents that show proof that you are the owner of this apartment. Okay, but hey, he couldn't give me an appropriate answer. Okay, so I was actually looking for questions. I was questioning him and questioning me over and over and over, but he couldn't give me a concrete answer, okay, as to whether the apartment belongs to him or not. Whenever I put a straight question to him, he keeps on going, beating about the bush and dodging and stuff like that. So I just knew that, hey, this person is not a genuine person. Yeah. He continues to say the price I will pay for a month of the rent will be 620, of course, which I have explained, and he wants a deposit of 1,240. Yeah, and the deposit will be received back when you leave the apartment. Of course, you know that in Germany, when you are going to rent an apartment, you put some kind of deposit, yeah, so that in case you kind of mess up the apartment when you are leaving, or you break something, then that money can be used to repair what you have broken or what you have spoiled in the apartment. Okay, in case there is nothing that you have spoiled, then this money, yeah, this money is called the caution. Okay, this caution will be given back to you. Now he is asking me to pay a caution of 1,240 euros with no extra tax to pay. The rent, I want to receive it monthly to my bank account, so I hope it will not be a problem for you to wire the money. You see, so he wants me to give my details so that, I mean, through booking.com, then I'll not have to send transfer it myself to him. Then it means that every month the booking.com will be deducting my money through my bank, right? So this is what it refers. So he says, when I have the details, booking.com will contact you, but you need to be sure before my coming from England, so it has to be fully interest from your side. Looking forward to hear to you. So it's like he wants me to commit myself before he comes from England to Germany to come and lease the sign the contract, okay, which should also tell you that it's not true. Once this person gets the amount of money, or once the process of transferring the money goes through, then what they do is that they will delete this email address. So you cannot, even when you send the message, they will not receive it. Even if they don't delete it, once you send the message, they will not, there's no way they will answer they will respond to you. Okay, so this is what they do. And then these people have several email addresses. several of them. You are not the only person they are scamming. So once he uses mason.jpoly or whatever to write to you, the next person he's going to scam, I mean, Gmail and Yahoo Mail are easily to open. So the next person he's going to scam will not, he will not use his name Mason Lee or Paul Lee, right? He will use another name. So I just sent an email to tell him that if you are really the owner of the house, give me proof, okay? Give me a document that I will see that this apartment indeed belongs to you, okay? And he wasn't able to provide anything, right? So you should be very, very careful when you are actually looking for an apartment. Looking for an apartment in Germany can be very, very stressful, especially, as I said, in the big cities. But hey, you really have to be careful. Okay, so these are the pictures of the area he sent me. Okay, so these are the pictures. So when I saw the pictures, I was kindly convinced. So one thing they do is that they just, I don't know how they get these pictures, but the pictures are so bright, and I don't know, they do some editing to get a nice view and put them on Facebook to attract you. Yeah, so these are some of the pictures. For instance, this is the dining table, this is the bedroom, the kitchen. And you should know that when you are renting an apartment in Germany, the only thing you will not buy, okay, if the apartment is complete, then it means that there is a full set kitchen, an Einbauküche, okay, the inbuilt kitchen. Yeah, so when there is a kitchen, it's okay for you, okay? So then everything in the apartment will be bought by the tenant. This is what you should note. Now, if there is something you should buy, okay, apart from everything in the apartment, then it should be the kitchen, okay? Most of the bring your own set of kitchen, and when you are leaving, of course, you have to take everything along with you, okay? They do not give you a bed, a dining table, a set of chairs, a coffee machine, a dryer, no, okay, unless of course you rent these non-Wohnungen, okay, like GAG or Sale Wohnungen, or even with that one, everybody has his or her washing machine. You have your own washing machine, you have to buy it yourself, okay? Yes, so when you are renting an apartment, you should be very, very careful, okay, when you are renting the apartment. So there are scammers in everywhere. So that is why I just want to do this video, for you to know that scammers are real, okay, and they go through huge platform to scam people's money. And mind you, as soon as you give your details to them, okay, and then the transaction goes through, because when you give it to them, you have ordered the bank already to do the payment on your behalf. So once the bank does the transfer, that is it. Do not put it in your mind that the bank will be able to trace these people. No, they are untraceable. They cannot be traced, okay? So if you incur any liability, it's your own, it's at your own cost. Yeah, because you ordered the bank to do it. So the bank will not go all along to be tracing where the money goes, right? So you should be very careful, very careful. It's better to look for these platforms, the German platforms, the good platforms where you can get an apartment, okay? Do not go on Facebook. Even if you go, I just haven't seen anyone who has rented an apartment on Facebook yet, okay? But you have to be careful. Even if it's on Facebook, you should be careful, okay? On social media, just be careful. Just be careful. This is what I would do. It's kind of stressful. That's what I would say. It's kind of stressful, but hey, you have to take your time. Do not be in a rush. When you are in a rush, then you get scammed. People have been scammed, okay? That's why I'm coming out to do this video, for you to know that, hey, you really need to be careful. All right, so thank you very much for your time, and If you haven't subscribed yet to my, the name still remains Hmmmmm Alphonsine, both on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you so much for watching. Cheers.